Hey, so in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to install Raspbian for Robots, the custom operating system by Dexter Industries, onto an SD card. You may have accidentally corrupted an image that you bought from us, or you may just want to burn your own. You have an SD card that you want to use for your Raspberry Pi. So I'm going to walk you through how to do that. This set of directions are specifically for a Mac. We have a different video you can find on YouTube for how to do it with a PC, and you can find also written directions on our website. So this is our how-to page. It's dexterindustries.com how-to, and if you go there, you'll see a whole bunch of great explanations for how to do various stuff around the Raspberry Pi. But most importantly to this tutorial, we've got the install SD cards, or install the Raspbian for Robots SD card image. So if you're looking for written directions, I'll put the link at the bottom of the YouTube page so you can find them. And I'm going to walk you through how to do that. When you go to how to, you just click on the picture with the SD card and it'll take you to these step-by-step directions. Mac is the second one down. If you just click on the plus sign, it expands it and you can see all the directions, including some pictures that are sort of helpful to walk through how to do this. So I'm going to do this step by step as best I can, and happy to try to answer any questions on YouTube or in our forums, which are /forums on dexterindustries.com. So the first step is to download the latest image file. We compress these because they're about 4 gigabytes. You'll need a 4 gigabyte SD card to begin with. You'll need a micro SD card if you're using any of the latest Raspberry Pi versions. So say a B plus or Raspberry Pi 2 or A plus or the latest 0, they all take micro SD cards. And if you're using a MacBook Pro or MacBook Air with a SD card reader on it, you will need a SD card adapter. All of these come, that's this thing where it has a little slot right there for the micro SD card. All these come with Dexter Industries SD card, which you can buy off our website. Or again, if you're using your own micro SD card, then you just need to find an adapter or a way to read that with your computer. So these are 4 gigabyte. This is a 4 gigabyte image. I've just downloaded it, but you'll find it if you go to SourceForge. We also have a link on how to download it from Google Docs as well, Google Drive. Sometimes SourceForge doesn't work for folks, but you'll just go to Files, or you can hit this download button. And the latest one, as of the publishing of this video, is this 2015-1109. So if you double click on that, download it. Pretty straightforward. For the purpose of this video, I have already done that. So I'm going to put this back here, and with the Mac, I've got a program called Unarchiver on it. You can use your own unzipping program, so something that will uncompress it. If I double click on it, it just starts doing it automatically. Since I have a MacBook Air, it has a solid state drive, it's going to do this really rapidly. But you can use whichever program works for you, and when you're done, there'll be an IMG file at the end of it. It'll pop up on your desktop. While that's unzipping, I'm going to talk about where to find your SD card, what to do with your SD card. We're going to insert it into, you can see this is a picture of my MacBook Pro, and there's an SD card reader on the side. My MacBook Air has something similar. Some smaller MacBook Airs don't actually have that. You need to take a USB device that sell them everywhere, but it's just a USB SD card reader, and that should give you access to the SD card. I'll give that one more second. This is super fast. On my other computer, it takes a lot longer. Great. So probably popped up over here. Aha, this Dexter Industries image. I'm going to just drag this over here so you can kind of see everything. And as you can see, that's the same file name. It's just got the .img, and it looks like a little disk drive on the Mac. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to insert the SD card into my SD card reader. Again, I've got one on my MacBook. You may get an automatic pop-up when you put it in. You may not. But if you don't see it, click on Finder, and it should bring up a couple of things that are interesting over here on the right. So you've got this boot, and that is the SD card sort of mounted to your Raspberry Pi. That's great. So I see that. Okay, so one last step before we actually begin to burn. We're going to download a program called Etcher, and this is a really easy way to download and install an image on an SD card using a Mac. If you go to Etcher, etcher.io, this location up here, you'll see that it automatically sees we're using a Mac, and you can download. So for the purposes of our downloaded just by clicking this green button here, for the purposes of this tutorial real quick, I've got it already installed, so I'm going to launch Etcher. See, it pops up and disappears, and you may be prompted to enter in the, I'll close this so it's a little bit easier to see, you may be prompted to enter in the password to your computer to get it started because it uses super serious administrator rights to rewrite the disk. So there are two ways, now that we've already unzipped our image file from the zip file that we downloaded from SourceForge. I can either click select image here, or I can even take that IMG file and drag it over to select image, and it'll actually select it. And a couple things happened automatically there. First of all, the file was suddenly showing here, and this turns white. And then second of all, the select drive, the Etcher went ahead and found our SD card automatically already. So in my case, it's dev/disk2, and it shows a 4 GB SD card on there. Yours may be a different size SD card, or maybe not, maybe located on a different disk number. Either way, it should be the same as the SD card that showed up on our desktop. So finally, we'll go ahead and flash the image. If everything is ready and your SD card is selected, we can go ahead and click flash, and we'll see it start to work. You get us starting there, and we saw that the SD card disappeared from the desktop, and we start to see the speed at which we're burning, and we start to see some progress. This percentage will change. So that's great. I'm gonna go ahead and pause here until I actually get it done, and I'll show you what it looks like on the other side. Okay, so what we've just done is we've finished flashing the image, and you'll see that it changes over to validating the image. And all this is doing is comparing the file that we have on our desktop that we downloaded and unzipped to the file that's on the SD card. This runs a little bit faster. It's just double checking it for us. So again, I'll let this finish up, and then I'll check back in. But just wanted you to see that the image gets validated. And here we go. We get a little alert saying that we were successfully flashed. It also ejected. It lets you know it's safely ejected and ready for use. So you can now pull your SD card out and put it into the back of your Raspberry Pi and begin.